Use my affiliate link to support the channel down in the description. I'm gonna call Mr. Nightfall right now. Let's get him on the old mic.
Yo, what's good?
Yo, how's it going?
Yeah,
You
pretty well, pretty well. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing great, brother. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming through. We have Mr. Nightfall TCG in the chat. Where can people check you out, brother?
Hello. So, yeah, I'll leave my YouTube and Twitter here. And yeah, they can just check me there, YouTube and Twitter, and then I'll just leave my Discord as well.
Sounds good. Sounds
And
good.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I wanted to have you on. One of the first people I want to talk to just about. I mean, we just recorded a podcast, and then a couple days later, the Banlist came out. So, what are
yeah.
your first impressions, brother?
So yeah, I think like of course Branded is just the best deck. Of course, again.
Of course.
Not even close. Yeah, but yeah, I feel like Sanctifier not getting banned just helps a lot. I think like post Legacy of Destruction, like it just makes the Tempire matchups also a bit easier. Like if they let us go first, we just puppet lock them. And yeah, I think like Sanctifier's thing is just a huge bonus. Like you can still like play the deck, but yeah, just feels like a lot better if you have puppet on it. Just how to win.
Yeah, 100%. I kind of, admittedly thought that we might get the check with Sanctifier, but I guess we're getting off scot-free. I mean, we see the other, like, monster floodgates come back, so I think that maybe they're going to test the water and see if those are better to deal with than all the spells and traps, and, like, maybe we'll get away with Sanctifier being legal for a bit longer, but, it depends, I think. If, like, Branded starts ending up actually performing and doing what, like, actually performing, being the second or third best deck in the room of tops, like maybe we'll be back on the menu to get banned, but elsewise I don't know. I feel like Sanctify, but like, yeah, no, how do you think Branded's position now? Like, because like with the hits with Baron and Savage, my immediate reaction was like, oh, board breakers are amazing, and we're the deck who already ran all board breakers. So how do you feel about like where Branded should position in the meta now is, and maybe what you're looking, or meta calls you're looking for this format?
So the thing is, like, yeah, it's true. Baron and Savage got banned. Like, the boards right now will just be worse unless like the boards are like in-engine ones. Like I think both Legacy, like you build us somewhat a good board, which I don't think is a problem for Branded, but they can still like do a XYZ Baron. But the thing is, now that you cannot make a good board, I think people will just play like Floodgate strategies. Floodgate like purely, for example, which can be either bad or good matchup for us depending on what they end on. And yeah,
Yes.
I think like Wonderis is just. I think Wonder is just an okay matchup, but of course, if they open Featherstorm, you just instantly lose the game. Of course, that's against every deck. And like it depends if people cook like with Protoss something, just because like Protoss go dark, you can still play the game, but it will be a bit weird without like mirror jets and like special summoning dark monsters. But yeah, I think the deck is just very well positioned to do well for Nats and Europe's and like the upcoming nationals. Yeah, I think it will do still very well. It just depends like. I don't think like the deck can be very countered very much. Like I think people can just play D barrier, but yeah, they just need to draw it unless they play Labyrinth.
Yeah, and like Labyrinth kind of gets checked by Fire King, kind of seemingly going to be the best deck, or at least the best fire variant. So I think that, no, I completely agree with that. And would you say, I mean, now without anti-spell and stuff like that, do you think, like, would you be looking towards, because I personally took out cosmics and stuff like that, are you like, because I think we just saw like runic stun is basically unhit. I think we're still gonna have to contend with that, like, so you don't really see yourself changing your approach with Branded, I guess, like, or
Yeah, not really. Like I think the build is gonna be somewhat the same. I think I will play this for German nationals. I don't think I'll change it. I think it still will be a hand trap format, and like high spirit build just like instantly, just like you can play through 2 or 3 hand traps, like most of the hands, like most of the good hands, and like even mid-range hands can tank 2 hand traps, even Ash included. I think that what will change is like the what we play against, like the certain matchups. Like it depends like what people play. But I don't think like much will change about the build. It's just like the board breakers and like the non-engine we play or like what we side. But the approach would be most definitely the same. I just like this list so much. And yeah, I think if it's a board breaker format, playing like multiple high spirits just helps a lot.
Yeah, no, and like I was thinking maybe also implications of the list is like Nib and Droll will be back on the menu with a lot of combo decks just now going to fold to Nib on the spot a lot more rather than did before that don't just have an engine outs to Nib. So and then also Droll seemingly being pretty good against Fire King and then also against voiceless, and then also some variants of branded is okay. I mean, I don't know if I'd ever side and roll against branded, and I'd also probably question someone if they did. But I'm just saying if maybe people are maining that, that doesn't deter you from running more gas or anything. Like I think I was talking about certain interactions that allowed us to play around that, but I don't know how you felt about like so really not really too much change, and even with that in mind.
Oh yeah,
Like
for sure. Like
Nibiru
I
or
don't think
Droll.
like draw and nip are like just the lowest impact hand traps against branded. Like I think like every other hand trap, like except those two, just do anything to branded. I think if you play against those branded, it's just neg one. Like the thing is against Nibiru, just every card floats. Like Mirror Jade can float and then Gringano can float as well. So I don't think you play nip against this deck. Like it's just not good. Even if they go first and they have nib and had like most like it never worked because when I break boards, I just have Gringono and Jade on board, and if they nip there, I'm just fine with that. So yeah, I don't think like those. If people just main deck those hand traps, I think they're a massive disadvantage against branded. And yeah, I think that's another approach. So, but if people main deck draw, I think like Patchwork engine is gonna be a bit worse because you don't you just don't wanna like start with Patchwork and then your opponent drawing you. It's just very neck, and also going second, if you do that, like it's just restricts you from doing a lot for that matter. So what I always do is just prefer starting with a Lubar or Trust, so draw doesn't affect me as much. If you start with Patchwork, like your Patchwork and Chimera is dead, and then the Allures are dead. So yeah, we'll just see how format proceeds. People will probably cut down draw if if Tempai takes over the meta, maybe
Oh
or
yeah.
like the other decks. But yeah, we'll see like how the meta develops. It's just too early for the format. It's just developing still.
Yeah, definitely. How do you feel about Colossus and Protos coming back, and like if those end up being, because a lot of people are hyping up these Nemesis cards as an engine for people to tech and a lot of like Protos and Thunder Dragon Colossus, like I just made a deck profile covering that, and then there's also just people doing that basically any other deck because they're just so generic. Do you think that if those become an issue, or those could become an issue for branded if it ends up catching, and like would we like have to end up like doing something for that, because like obviously Protos can only be interacted really like it's really hard to interact with. You kind of have to have like the imperm for it kind of thing.
Yeah, so the thing is like it depends like what decks. So like start with the Colossus in branded. I don't think you need the card just because Colossus just doesn't solve any issues. Like I don't sure you can use it against shifter decks, but at this point you would rather just summon your older fusions. You can make Stapeli or Borreload or Dragoon. But yeah, I don't think like Colossus solves any issue. Maybe if like Sanctifier got hit on the list, you can just consider ending on it, but I don't think you should waste extra deck spot and like the Nemesis cards for it. But yeah, it really depends on people's tastes. But yeah, I don't like it. I would rather just pop it lock all day if needed.
No, that's totally fair. Um, yeah, like I tried out the deck and it was very fun, and I feel like it's an option in our tools of options, but I don't think it's at all better than what we've been doing. Like Puppet Lock still does everything, and like you said, even under Shifter, you have other options.
Exactly. So about Protoss right now is just I don't know like what combo decks can utilize this. Like obviously if it's Sword Soul, like it doesn't have Baron anymore. One Nibiru will always like destroy the deck right now. I don't think people will play Sword Soul just because Protoss came back. Like Baron was actually a huge hit because right now people will just main deck Nibiru and like one Nibiru just kills this deck. But yeah, I think like it really depends how they what combos they make with Protoss. Like they can play the Nemesis cards, but I don't know if they can search it. I'm pretty sure they can. I'm pretty sure like the rank 4 decks can search it. But for Snake Eye to play it, I think they need to open Bonfire and then add the Nemesis flag. I think that's how they can get to it. I'm not sure, but yeah, you still have options. I would just need to check for an option that's a light and you can summon with Lubellion. But yeah, you can still you can like still make banish cards. Okay, yeah. Any deck that plays rank force can make Protoss, but I don't. Probably some people just take parallel exceed for that, which is like something we can look for. But yeah, it really depends how the meta develops and like. No, but yeah, we'll see where that takes us off. But I'm pretty sure like it doesn't completely lose us the game. You can still make Sanctifier, Gringno, and Quartis, and maybe there's there's like another fusion you can make. But yeah, it doesn't like lock us completely. It just slows us down a bit, which is like we don't lose the game. Yeah.
Have you been testing it all today since the DB reset? You see any like early trends?
I didn't like have time to test today. I'll just start doing tomorrow. Like I'm just looking at. I was just like looking at what people were playing, and like there's like a lot of there's the format is still undeveloped. So like I'm just mostly waiting right now. Like I'm working on this format as well, but I'm like mostly waiting on Legacy of Destruction to see how that develops the meta. Like obviously Tempai will have a huge impact at first, but I don't think the deck will stay popular for long. Like I think just OCG has different card base than us, and it's obviously has a different ban list, so that's why the deck is just overperforming there. I think in TCG maybe we'll just probably just I don't think it will do very good just because like pure Tempai right now like it's very easily counterable deck and like it's a linear deck. It has like one line which it follows, which is like why it's easy to play and easy to read and easy like to counter. And yeah, we'll just see how this like shakes the meta, basically.
Yeah, I 100% agree. We just have that YCS Raleigh, so it's kind of like clouding things because everyone's preparing for that over here in the States. But you know, we have a whole new format to deal with now. Which I tried to like, you know, keep this deck profile in mind, but obviously we have to wait for meta developments. And such and so forth, and just see how those things pan out. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to kind of probe and see where you were at with this format. Were there any things maybe you thought the lists missed, or like any other like last thoughts?
So yeah, I think so like the list. So yeah, you mean the list as in the deck list, or like some deck cards? Let's
sorry,
say,
the
or
the ban list, or like yeah, like any like thoughts on the ban list, or just this format going forward, or maybe like
yeah. I'm just glad like the necessary evil got banned. Thanks for banning Link Kuribo. That's the most necessary evil that needed to get banned, not like the Jaugen stuff or like anything else, or like anti-spell to zero, like the other floodgates. Most definitely, this was my favorite hit of all.
Really? Yeah. So do you think that was the correct hit? Like no Zelantis ban, or like even though like Snake Eyes Ash didn't go to 1 or something?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I don't think like this was a correct hit at all. I said that because I thought it was funny, like to ban Link Kuribo. It just came out of nowhere. Like there's just so much degenerate stuff in the game, and they just decided to ban Link Kuribo, which is like very funny. But I think like the Atlantis should have got banned. Like that way they don't have like easy OTKs anymore. And yeah, I think it was just the Atlantis. For sure, Fire would have gotten hit and consistency wise, but not like the deck would still be very well played. I knew that from the beginning. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they really just got a super low slap on the wrist. It doesn't really do a whole lot to them altogether. But yeah, I don't want to keep you for too long, brother. I do appreciate you coming on the channel. Once again, everybody, go check out Nightfall's YouTube channel.